Hey guys, I don't know if you've ever heard of inattentional blindness or inattentional deafness. That's when something is directly in front of you, but you can't see it, or a conversation is happening in front of you and you can't hear it. You're not really taking it all in. I noticed, like, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I could be working on something and it could be right in front of me. The answer is right in front of me, but I'm not connecting with it. I'm not observing it. I'm not connecting the dots. Or I could be in a conversation, or I could be in a meeting and I'm there physically, but again, whatever is being said is kind of going over my head. It's not registering. So that is what they call inattentional blindness, inattentional deafness. So, just yesterday I was outside skating. I was practicing in the driveway. So I said, you know what? I'm going to move my car from one side to the other side of the driveway so I have more space, going back and forth. So I moved my car, and then I took my skate bag and my car keys and I set them in the grass, and I put my skates on, my socks, my skates, my protection gear and all that stuff, and I did my practice, went along my way, done with that, where once I was complete with that task, I said, okay, let me put my stuff up. So I grabbed my keys and I grabbed my skate bag and everything, and I had the trunk of my car up, and I put everything in, but then when I got ready to move my car, I couldn't find my keys. And I'm like, where are my keys? Where are my keys? And I promise y'all, it took me at least 12 to 13 minutes to find my keys. And I went back over to the grass to retrieve them. I'm like, I know I picked them up, and I kept going back and forth. I could never find my keys. I even took my skates back out the bag. I took my protective gear back out of the bag. Nothing. But guess what? There was another bag in the car, and somehow I wasn't paying attention, and I placed the keys in that bag. Inattentional, So that is because we are so zoned in and focused on other things that we are not completely connected to what we're doing. We're distracted. So it got me to thinking, if I'm doing that in the physical, am I too doing that in the spiritual, and I'm missing God, and I'm missing what He's trying to show me, how He's trying to speak to me, because I am so busy with my plans. I have my plans in stone. I have my plans written in stone that I can't hear or see what He's actually saying to me. I want to read this little segment here. It says, we must learn to pray like Elijah in 2 Kings 6:17, when he asked God to open his servants' eyes to the spiritual reality around them. And just like that, the servant saw the heavenly army that had been there all along. God is always at work, but we must choose to pay attention. And sometimes we can think we're doing all these great things, we're doing all these wonderful things, and still we are missing God, because now we have adapted to our own agendas. We are no longer flexible that we can hear or see God in the spiritual realm. So we got to be ever so careful that we are not allowing the enemy to come in and take control of what is truly God's agenda, and making us think that we're doing the right things when we're not. That can happen. And a lot of times we can be reading our word, physically reading our word, but still missing God in the spirit. Isn't that crazy? We can be reading what the word of God says, but still missing what He's actually saying to us. Think about how the disciples walked with God daily, and he would talk to them, and still sometimes they would miss it. Remember how they were out there on the sea, and God was down below sleeping, and then the storm came and they got afraid. Now they were with the Messiah on the ship, but yet and still they became alarmed, and God had to get up and say, "Peace, be still." He had to speak to the seas, and it obeyed. But they were right there with him. So if that can happen to them, that can happen to us. That can happen to us. God is right there with us, but yet and still we can get all frantic. We can become anxious. We can become worried. We start having self-doubt. I got this shirt on, pray. Pray on it, pray over it, pray through it. But am I really leaning into that? Some days you can tell me, yeah, I am. But then other days, maybe not. So I'm just saying all of this just to say, let's not be distracted. Let's not be distracted. And we have the Father right here in us, and we're still missing the mark. We're still missing the mark. How can we miss the mark? Easily. Because we're allowing flesh to take control. We're not spending that time with him. That's why we can talk to people any kind of way. And I know y'all probably tired of me talking about this. We can talk to people any kind of way. We can try to exclude people. We judge people. Why? Because we are missing the Father who is right in front of us, telling us not to do those things. We should be showing empathy. We should be showing grace. We should be showing mercy. That's for me too. Me too. We can get caught up in, I know God. I know God told me to do this. I know God told me to say this. I know. Do you really? Do you really? Because it should all show in our attitudes. If we're doing the right things, we should be showing some signs. We should be showing some true signs, a spiritual change, a spiritual transformation, so if those types of things can happen in the physical, where I'm missing something that's right before me, it can happen in the spiritual. So we need to just be aware of that. We need to be aware of that. And in your quiet time, just start asking God, what am I missing, God? Am I missing something? Is it something that you're trying to say to me? Is it something you're trying to show me and I'm missing it because I think I know? I think I got all the answers. I think that I know how to read the scripture so well. I know how you're going to move. And see, that's the thing about God. We don't know how God is going to move. We don't know who God is going to use. So we can't be walking around here thinking God is going to use this person, because he can't use that person because that person doesn't look the right kind of way. That person doesn't have the right kind of education. That person doesn't have the right type of influence. God can use anyone. He can use anyone, and we got to get out of that. We got to shake that we think God can only use certain kind of people. No, that's not true. That's not true. And then we're judging people, thinking God can't use someone because they're X, Y, and Z. That's not true. God can use anyone he wants to use. So let's not miss the mark. So I hope you got something out of this. Until next time, continue to grow and glow in the Lord.